I find that they'd walk past me without even acknowledging that you were there. So I don't know, I find that a little odd.
It's been striking in the last 10 months or so, the numbers of Asian people who, for the first time, these are people I've known for years and years and years, have expressed resentment to me about how they feel they've been treated when they've moved into white schools or moved into white areas. And these are very westernised people who want English neighbours.
But some of their white neighbours feel equally resentful. As Muslim Asians arrive in significant numbers, they change the area that they've chosen. Just opposite the Khans is the house where the Boothmans live.
We've got very good neighbours. We get on great together, you know. But they won't try, some of them.
They don't speak English. They tend to speak Urdu or whatever it is they speak, which is a bit uncomfortable. Especially if, like, I go in the barbers to get my hair cut and they're talking and you're thinking to yourself, well, these guys talking about me, you know. They won't integrate. That's really what I'm trying to say. We should work more together and keep the place as it is, English. We've got our heritage as well, you know, which is, put it bluntly, a pub. We like a pub to be handy and you can go and have a drink, especially a nice day like today. We're slowly getting swallowed up and we're losing our identity.
As non-drinking Muslims have moved into new areas of Blackburn, one after another, local pubs, under threat already because of changing social habits, have closed down altogether. Hard going for the landlady at the Dog Inn.
When you took this pub on, Tracy, you knew this pub was in an area which is changing.
Yes, I did.
Did you think to yourself, wait a moment, there are more Muslims moving in here, this is a pub, this is going to be difficult? And what did you think?
We looked at obviously the Asian community, but then again we looked at our English community, and there was a lot more then 3 years ago than what there is today.
And you didn't see the area going on changing the way it has?
No, not so dramatic as it has done.
What's happening is white flight. As Asians move into white areas, the whites are moving out. The business for estate agents around here is nearly all one way. We met one who said that in 28 years he'd never sold a house owned by an Asian to a white family. But the whole subject of white flight and why it's happening is something people find difficult to discuss. They're afraid that if they do, they'll be labelled racist. Why are the for sale signs going up?
I think some people's views will be probably somewhat different to mine. Some people may be putting the house up because they can see the way that things are changing, and maybe because, you know, Muslims, Asians, you know, are moving into the area, so that could be one of the reasons.
I don't know them, to be honest with you, further down the street, but I have seen them coming up and down, and they say good morning and how are you and that, but name-wise I don't know the names.
But beyond saying good morning, would you have anything you could talk about?
No, nothing at all.
My daughter was offered a place at the local school. We felt that it was an inappropriate setting for her. She would have been in a class with largely children from Asian backgrounds, for a large number of whom English would be the second language.
So you sent her to a school outside Blackburn?
Yeah, well, we felt it was a more appropriate educational setting for her.
And now you're going too?
Well, we'd very much like to be nearer them so that they could actually walk to school rather than have to be driven to school each day.
The phenomenon of people like you moving out is described as, putting it bluntly, white flight.
Mm-hmm.
So you're part of a process of white flight?
If you want to put it that way. I mean, I've described to you the reasons why we're moving. If you want to put a label on it, then that's up to somebody else.
And I think the way it's looking as it's going is that we're getting more and more separate. So you'll end up with Muslim Asian towns, you'll end up with white British towns.
A school trip to meet strangers. But these children aren't off on a journey to France or to Germany. They're going to meet each other.
Have a lovely morning. Careful getting on the coach, watch your footing, and please, seat belts, safety first, year 4.
They're meeting children from Whalley Range in the Muslim Asian heartland. Children from a largely white school being taken to meet and learn about children from another, not country, just a different part of town. A union's been arranged in the cathedral in Blackburn town centre.
So what we're going to do is to take, we're just going to form pairs from each of the schools. So for one person from St Michael's, one person from St Francis.
Could I have your young lady, please?
Several towns besides Blackburn are also using school twinning as a tactic to try and bridge the gap between the communities.
I'd previously worked in South Africa, in Cape Town, which is of course emerging from an apartheid history which was deeply divided and deeply divisive. And I think I can honestly say that I've never worked in such a segregated community or lived in one as this. Working in a group, you have 20 minutes to redesign your town. You might want to keep some things the same, you might want to change some things. Think about all the people who live in our town. You need to provide spaces and buildings to help with their needs.
And Blackburn school children started with a blank sheet of paper to try and rebuild the relationship between their communities.
We need a hospital. Yeah, we've got one. We need a bus station. Yes. We've got shops and we've got schools. We've also got lots of houses.
All right, so we've got 2 mosques, 2 churches.
And a big cathedral.
And a big cathedral?
Clearly twinning is only one thing that we can do, but it's an important first step. We've got to encourage people into the belief that having their children educated alongside children from another culture or another religion or another race, however we describe it, is an enhancing thing and not a diminishing thing, which is clearly what some people believe because they've chosen white flight.
In one part of Blackburn, a property developer and the council have literally tried to redesign the town to get the communities together again. A new estate, modestly titled Inspired, is part of a regeneration project, with townhouses for sale, just a few minutes' walk from the centre.
So this is the close show home, which is a 4-bedroom, 2.5-storey house. And with this one, we went well over the top with the interior design. We actually went to Istanbul for inspiration, and it's quite traditional.
The Turkish style was deliberately chosen to be diplomatic.
We felt that people would like it from kind of a multicultural perspective.
So you picked the Turkish theme because it would be a bridge between the two communities, between the Muslim, Asian and the white communities. Quite deliberately, that's why you picked Turkey.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you went shopping...
Where East meets West.
Where East meets West.
Yeah.
Where East meets West in Blackburn.
Yeah.
The developers aimed the houses at both communities, but the estate's been built in what's now become a predominantly Asian area. They spent nearly £70,000 advertising the homes locally. Both Muslim Asians and whites came to view, and the developers thought they'd buy in equal numbers, but only 1 out of 37 houses has been bought by whites.
What we were trying to do, Moya, was to please everybody, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But what you've shown is that you can't please everyone in Blackburn.
It certainly hasn't brought the people through the door that we anticipated it would.
Blackburn's future is bound to be more Muslim Asian still, and the separation between its two communities, the subject many people find so difficult to talk about, isn't just a problem here. This decent but divided town is a warning to the rest of Britain.
Vivian White reporting there from Blackburn. You're bound to have your views on what you've just seen. Don't hold back. You can call me on my Radio 2 show tomorrow or email our website. Next week, Scientology and me. John Sweeney investigates a religious organisation that does not like to be called a cult.